Hi everyone, this is Boris. Welcome to Art Ace Podcast, Episode 3. As I've said in my previous episode, I've taken a break, so these are episodes that I've already written, so I just said I might as well just use these notes to record these podcasts. So today, on our episode, I'm going to talk about Aquaman. So spoilers alert, if in case if you haven't watched the movie. So, as usual, I'll just start with some background information about the movie. So, of course, Aquaman is a DC Comics character, and for a long time, the useless superhero because his true powers come from when he's in ocean and he can. He can communicate with fish, which they make jokes about in the other DC movies. If you want to know, let's say the summary of everything that people make fun of when they think of Aquaman, just go to watch the Robot Chicken episodes if you in YouTube, you just type best of Aquaman on Robot Chicken. You'll see it's super funny. But then all this changed when they cast Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and even still people had some doubts. He did feature. He was a main character in the Justice League, which I like that movie, but it is a messy production and it is a messy movie. I to be honest, in Justice League, he didn't. I like Jason Momoa, and I think he has a great presence, screen presence. But I wasn't quite impressed with his take on Aquaman. For example, I was really interested in the take of Ezra Miller on Flash. But when it came to Aquaman, it was okay. He played the part, but actually in the Aquaman movie I liked him even better, so, and I think that was the whole point, so that's great. So Aquaman is a character created by Mort Weisinger and Paul Norris, but actually for a long time, and again when I say that people make fun of Aquaman, this is mainly in the cartoon world, right? But in comics, he was always a badass. So the movie is directed by James Wan. Of course, James Wan he has a very great track record of good horror movies, and he's a really talented director. I think the cast is actually the main cast is of course Jason Momoa as Arthur, Amber Heard as Mera, Willem Dafoe as Volko, Patrick Wilson as King Orm / Ocean Master, Nicole Kidman as Atlanta. I didn't recognize Dolph Lundgren from the trailer, but he's King Nerys, and Yahya Abdul Mateen II as Black Manta. So the synopsis is, it's very true to the. I think they took a lot of elements from the comics for the origin. Arthur Curry learns that he's the heir of the. Sorry, I said the heir, but the heir. Arthur Curry learns that he's the heir to the underwater kingdom of Atlantis and must step forward to lead his people and be a hero to the world. This is a lot of people, when they saw the trailer, they compared it to Black Panther, with the rivalry and who should take the throne. But actually, this story has already been told several times. And that's what comic books are. They are like modern mythology, which are they are like a collage of different ancient mythology, put through a filter of whatever is current, right? Um, so I think compared to the podcast I recorded on Mortal Engines, this will be a little bit more organized, or at least I hope. So I've separated the things. So I'm not going to talk about the story. I am going to talk about the different aspects, the points that I found were good, the points that I found were bad, and the mixed points, which I think had some good and bad in them. But in the overall, it's a really very enjoyable movie. It's again, yeah. The reason why I said spoilers alert, I can't talk about it without actually spoiling it. So having said all those, given all those information, now let's go. Let's start with the bad points, just to get them out of the way. So the first thing is that I felt it was long. But for the good reason. But still, so I was sitting. So I went to a just small theater near my house, and I was sitting like really close to the screen. I mean, I usually don't sit that close, but I mean, in a way, I was happy that I sat there because I think 3 rows back there was a kid who kept talking through the movie. So I was really glad that I was not in that row. I mean, of course it's a kid, but still, I think I don't know if I made it clear, but I hate when people talk during movies. Like, I mean, unless of course it's like a comedy movie, but even like I want the people to react. I don't want people to talk during the movie. Anyway. So like I said, so the first bad point, I think it could have been shorter, I think so, but they tried to put a lot of things, but I never got bored. So, and it's amazing to look at. So that's, I think, the first negative point, I would say. The other thing is, so I really think, like, for example, there is something, just to make a little tangent here, like, the thing that is not subtle in manga, and also that is I think the characteristic of anime, is that the characters explicitly, or like in the internal monologue, tell us what their motivation is. I mean, even if for some people it's not subtle, I love it because it immediately tells you what the character wants and what are the obstacles he or she has to face. So I'm saying that because I love characters who have like really good motivations, and in this movie, like I think everybody has really good motivation, except for Mera. She does. I mean, I know she's a good girl and she wants to do good. She's on the side of, but you really don't know why she helps Arthur. Like there's no real reason for her to do it, right? So yeah, I think that's like the lack of motivation. And I think the character of Mera, especially played by Amber Heard, I think has a lot of problems. Like they tried to insert some scenes between Jason Momoa and Amber Heard, and their chemistry between them is a little bit off. I don't feel like they had a really good chemistry. Like, for example, to take another example of a DC movie, like in Wonder Woman, like the chemistry between Gal Gadot and Chris Pine was like, really natural, and and that was great. But I don't know, it just felt that you could see on the screen that it felt like two people who were forced to act together. I don't know. So the chemistry between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa, so that's another negative point for me. And I mean, I don't want to keep pointing the finger at Amber Heard, but to be honest, I mean, what is the other movie I have seen with her? I think I've seen, and I think I've seen it just because it was, I think, John Carpenter's movie. I think it's called The Ward. She played like a character in that, but other than that, I've never like really paid attention. Oh no, yeah, she was also in Machete. I think she was really funny in Machete, but Machete Kills. Um, but I don't really think that she's a great actress. I don't think she has the charisma that, for example, Scarlett Johansson has. Um, and the other so this is just to transition into the good points, and I think those are the main bad points that I could take note of after watching the movie. So the transition into the good points, I think the post-credit scene is another sign that the movie is the step in the right direction for DC movies, and I don't want to be just another guy who is talking about the problems of DC movies compared to Marvel movies. I mean, that's just like, there are so many videos, so many podcasts about that I don't want to get into that. So the reason why the post-credit scene is a step in the right direction is because they didn't tease a connected universe. Instead, they teased the second Aquaman movie, and I think it's great. Like, I want to watch Aquaman too. So, now on to the good points. Like, just like when I said that Amber Heard is not a great actress, on the other side, I think Patrick Wilson is a brilliant as the Ocean Master. And speaking of villains, like Black Manta, the character of Black Manta's motivations are great. I mean, and actually, it's actually quite clever. Like in the beginning, you kind of think like, like they're going to show Aquaman doing heroics, and actually, he's really brutal and he's really violent, right? Like so in the beginning, so in the first scene, I think you see it in the trailer, like some pirates take control. I mean, they hijack a submarine, and of course Aquaman goes to save them. So this pirate, I don't know, do you call it pirate troop? Okay, let's say pirate troop. This pirate troop of pirates or pirate troop is led by Black Manta, the character. I mean, Black Manta and his father. So, and during this fight, Aquaman just like, since he's so violent, like he just pushes father, and he gets trapped under like a missile or something really heavy, and since they are in a submarine, there's like a leak, and then the room starts like filling up with water, and like clearly they're going to drown. So Aquaman just goes, and so the Black Manta asks Aquaman to save his father, just not to leave them like this. And Aquaman says, like, you are pirates, like you killed people, and you were trying to kidnap. I mean, you were trying to like hijack the submarine. I'm not going to save you. And then he just goes, right? So, which actually connects really well with the point when Nicole Kidman actually says, I mean, now I'm just jumping back and forth, but like, you know, when I don't know the exact words, but I don't know if she says like a king fights for his nation or saves his nation, but a hero saves everyone, right? So that's kind of a good, I think, I don't know if it's that clear, but for me, I really liked it. I think it's a good arc where like Arthur realizes that he has to save everyone, and like he has to become a hero, not only a king. And that's actually really interesting when people make comparisons between Black Panther and Aquaman, because in Black Panther, I think in the beginning, that's what Killmonger criticized T'Challa, because he says that, you know, like, there are a lot of people like us who are suffering in the world, and you are just sitting here in your country just to protect, and you care only about your country, right? So, and yeah, so that was a great moment, and I think the villain's motivations are clear, and that's great. And this one is very personal to me. It was great to see Jeff John's name in the story credits. You remember when I said Aquaman was always a badass in the comics, and much of it has to do with the stories that were written by Jeff Johns. So it was really great to see someone from the comics finally actually was able to bring this version to the big screen. And now let's get into some mixed points. The world they have created is rich. The costumes, the production, the design is awesome. You have to give credit to the creative team. Since the world is so rich, they had to make a lot of expositions. So yeah, that's why I call this mixed points, because on one side, okay, I understand why they have to do expositions, but still, there were a lot of expositions, and there was a lot of I don't want to say like a pattern, but like each time someone tells a story or a myth, that story happens to be real. So, uh, and the other one is that they made some bold choices, and I was going to. So the next thing I was going to talk about is the Castlevania season 2 that is on Netflix, which has a little bit of connection with Aquaman, which I will talk about in the next episode. But they made a really great choice, like the music, the 80s synthesizers, like the beats. I'm a huge fan of John Carpenter, so whenever I hear that, it just brings me back to that period. And okay, I'm not that old, but still, come on, guys, 80s, it's the great. I was born in 80s, so and I'm a 90s kid, so I'm always nostalgic about those things. But in terms of songs, I listen to indies, or I listen to Aquaman album. It's great. Like, it's a great drawing music, like great writing music for me, I think. But there are they made some odd choices, especially in the movie when they used the Pitbull song for a moment, and then there's a song for Black Manta gearing up montage. You can, I don't know. It just those things just felt a little bit weird and rushed. But otherwise, like the Aquaman theme is simple and great. Like I love the Aquaman theme. I don't know if people will be able to remember it like the Wonder Woman theme, but I think DC movies have done that really well. Like, give each character their really recognizable theme. So there's a wonderful moment, like I said, Nicole Kidman gives a really wonderful speech, right? Like how a hero saves everyone, but then, and then, like I said, so this is a like a mixed moment. So these are mixed points. So in this moment, like she says that speech, and then I don't know if there's another way they could have shot this, but like then Jason Momoa just slowly walks and then goes to the. I don't know. There was something weird. I don't know. Like I don't know. The speech could have ended with some like a. I don't know. Like when speech ends, and then maybe Mera warns something like, "Oh, he can't go there." Like, what if the monster kills him, and so on. And then when they turn back, he's not in front of them. He's already walking towards the fountain. I don't know. Like, I don't know. So I'm just saying. Like, the first time I saw it, it was really weird. We didn't talk about the main actor. I want to talk shortly about the casting choice of Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Like I said, I liked him even a little bit more than in Justice League. And I'm not like for example, if you talk about Batman, I know what Batman should feel like, what Batman music should like sound like, or what Batman would do, because I'm a Batman fan. But Aquaman, I'm not really familiar with it. I've been exposed to him, of course, to the animated Justice League Unlimited animated series. There are a lot of animated direct-to-DVD movies that DC has put out, where Aquaman is featured. But other than that, I'm not really familiar with Aquaman as a character. Um, but I think Jason Momoa has I think he has a lot of fun playing the character. Maybe I think, like I said, I think he's great. He's a great fit for the character. But I unfortunately I think his chemistry with Mera is, I don't know. And even when in Justice League, Amber Heard appeared in to give that speech in the little like air bubble. Um, it was still weird to see her. I don't know. Like, I hope that gets better in Aquaman too. Um, Most people say that origin stories are boring, but when done right, I like origin stories. I've always argued that in the Chris Nolan's Batman trilogy, as great as Dark Knight is, I love Batman Begins even more because it's truly a Batman movie. In the other movies, the villains make the plot move forward and Batman stops them. I mean, even Dark Knight. So, okay, just to bring back to the movie, this movie was funny, it was exciting, and it was very well directed. So, bravo to James Wan, right? So, of course, there are cheesy moments, but these moments feel cheesy because I think the audience has become so well aware of these moments in movies and tropes and so on that like it's the not to call it the postmodern approach, but just let's call it like the Deadpool syndrome, which means like we feel the need to make fun of everything, right? But you know, some sincere things, some sincere feelings, some sincere scenes are cheesy, but they need to be there. Otherwise, it won't feel human. Of course, a monumental task of leading this team, like I said, bravo to James Wan for doing this, and I hope that he will stay for Aquaman 2, just like they are doing for Wonder Woman. I hope they will keep the directors. You can especially with James Wan, you can feel that he gave the creative freedom, and you can see that on the screen, like the creative team that just went crazy about the thing. So when I watched the trailer, there was a little speech. I mean, Mera and Aquaman, they go and to find this the trident, and there is a small like a hologram of the king of Atlantis who ruled. Who was the old king of Atlantis? He says that in the hands of the true heir, it will bring prosperity or something like that. Like, and when I watched it in the trailer, I said to myself, like, why is it that always like the true heir is the only person who will be able to bring? They never say like he has to be a good leader. Like only a good leader can do this. Like they say a true heir. I mean, so what does it mean, a true heir? So okay, so I went with those questions in mind in the movie, and then actually the movie is not actually, it actually really answered really beautifully actually. So Aquaman, the author, is actually the bridge between the two worlds, right? So and you can see like the ideals of Atlanta, like played by Nicole Kidman, is that everybody thinks of like the land and the sea as different, but she says like it's all one, right? We are all living in the same space. And that I just thought that was a really great idea, and which means that we are responsible for keeping the ocean safe and clean. There is a moment where they deal with that, but I thought they will go a little bit further on that point about trash in the sea. But it's there's already a lot of plot in the movie, so it was already long. And like when I was talking about the lack of motivations for Mera, like some people may say, like, wait, what if she knew that this magical trident exists? Why
doesn't she just go and take it by herself, right? But then again, his name is Arthur. Like I said, like the comics, they are a collage of different myths. So this is the Arthur story, like the guy pulling the sword from the stone, right? So this it's the same. Like the only Arthur can take that magical trident from the hands of the old king of Atlantis. So and I think I think maybe they will discuss this in further in the Aquaman 2. But I really want to know like the struggles of a mixed race, like a mixed child, because Aquaman is he's half human and half Atlantean. So yeah, I just want to know like how that, how, like, what is the philosophical split that he's going through. That's just me. I'm always interested in philosophy of characters. But anyway, just to conclude, and I'm so glad this movie was made. I've always dreamed of a live action movie that would live up to the quality of their animated movies. For your information, if you haven't watched the DC movies, I will do another whole episode on my recommendations of movies you should watch, like especially the direct-to-DVD movies. If you're a superhero fan, especially if you're a DC fan like me, I think that would be so. Watching this movie felt like watching like one of those direct-to-DVD animated DC movies, which are really great, by the way. Like just to give a quick. Like I said, I'm not going to go into the why Marvel is better in the movies and so on. But still, when I look at everything, because DC is not only movies, DC is comics, animated movies, toys, and blah, 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 and so on. So it's a whole business. When I compare that from that perspective between Marvel and DC, I think DC is better at comics. Like their events are more successful than the events that Marvel tries to put together. Like in terms of animated movies, I've tried to watch some animated movies by Marvel, but they are not that good, to be honest. But the animated movie, like most animated movies with DC characters, are really great, because I think, I don't know, I just feel like of course Marvel has Thor, but I feel like the DC characters are much more epic, much more linked to mythology than the other. I just feel like the Marvel characters are too scientific, and I think they work in their own. In a different environment, but still, I think I'm a guy who's in love with myths. So I don't know. I'm always drawn towards like DC characters and DC movies and so on. But Marvel movies are great. But anyway, to come back to and conclude Aquaman. Aquaman is great. I'm so glad I saw this movie. I wanted to watch it a second time, but I didn't have time. My mother was here, so I wanted to spend as much time as I could. So yeah, that's my little, let's say, review / analysis of Aquaman. So I hope you like this episode. So please, if you like this episode, please follow. I'll try to put as many podcasts as possible. I'm watching a lot of things at the moment, and I think it's really interesting to talk about them. And I'm really excited for some podcasts that I'm going to do, and I hope you'll be I hope you like them. So this is Boris. Until next time, in another episode of Art Is Podcast. I'll see you around.